a.m. to 12 noon. One solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes your country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand.
The views and opinions expressed by participants and callers during this program are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or policies of ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation, its management, or sponsors. The station accepts no responsibility for statements made.
All right, good morning, listeners to radio station ZIZ. And of course, we're broadcasting to you from our brand new studios here at Springfield? I don't know. We're at ZIZ. I forget about Springfield. Oh, Camp Springfield. That sounds a lot better. Yes, welcome to another edition of The Edge. Again, my name is Clement Monarch, and I'm here today to further what we discussed yesterday. Based on a couple of the callers yesterday, they wanted us to actually look at to look at that Africa-Caribbean connection, because I know, I've listened to a lot of shows. I've heard, people talking about, well, I guess putting it bluntly, we should go back to Africa. And so we want to explore that and know exactly how the Caribbean fits into this picture. We want to make sure that we have an idea as to what needs to be done. Not only amongst the people of the Caribbean, but also our leaders as well, as it relates to how do we cooperate? How do we get this thing going? How do we, with everything that's happening now in the world, and we see that there's this, domination coming from up north, where they want to make sure that everything is seemingly nice and white and, Republican. So they need to bow to the king. So we need to make sure here, of course, in the Caribbean, that we're on the right side of everything that is happening now. What I'm going to do, I have an article here from the Horn Review. It's 2025 Year of Preparations, Justice for Africans and People of Caribbean Descent through Reparations. And it says the deep historical and cultural ties between Africa and the Caribbean have long shaped the identity and resilience of people of African descent worldwide, from shared struggles against colonialism to the enduring vision of Pan-Africanism. The Africa-Caribbean Alliance represents more than just diplomatic relations. It is a reaffirmation of a common heritage and shared destiny. At the heart of this growing alliance stands Ethiopia, a nation whose symbolic and historical significance has made it a cornerstone of the Pan-Africanism and African unity. As the only African country to successfully resist colonization, Ethiopia has long been a beacon of black sovereignty and self-determination. It remains a source of inspiration for Caribbean notions and the global African diaspora. Today, as Africa and the Caribbean strengthen their political, economic, and cultural ties, Ethiopia's leadership and influence remain central to shaping this renewed partnership. The development of modern African and Caribbean states followed similar trajectories shaped by the transatlantic slave trade, colonialism, and the subsequent abolitionist and independence movements. The Caribbean African descended population largely stems from the brutal system of plantation slavery, where resistance and rebellion were constant themes. These struggles for freedom found echoes in Africa, particularly in Ethiopia's victory of the Battle of Adwa in 1896, a rare and monumental triumph of an African nation over European colonial power. The victory had a profound impact on anti-colonial movements worldwide, including in the Caribbean. Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley, chair of CARICOM, highlighted this shared history in her speech to the 78th African Union Summit in Addis Ababa. She emphasized how the resistance against oppression in the Caribbean was deeply connected to the struggles in Africa, with Adwa serving as the symbol of hope and the possibility for liberation. So there you have, a couple thoughts coming from, as I say, the Horn Review, which gives us ideas, connections, and synergy, and giving us some kind of scope as to where we were, where we are, and actually how do we move forward with this. I know you guys were interested in, talking about this whole thing yesterday, and as I said, right now I can see the world, starting to realign. We're realigning because I guess some folks, want to make their place the only great place instead of making the world a greater place. And that's what we need to do. So if we need to realign, we need to, get in touch with our ancestors. This might be the right time to do it. So let's have a conversation today. Our numbers, of course, are 465-1977, 465-1903, 662-8674. And let's talk about exactly what's happening as it relates to the Caribbean and Africa realigning. So let's go to the phones. We'll take our first call for today. Welcome to The Edge.
Yes, good morning, Monarch.
Good morning. Welcome back.
Yeah. Now, Monarch, I'm going to throw some names out there to the public and to you as the host, and I want you to think on these names. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with the name, its character, Susan Rice.
Susan Wright?
Rice. Susan Rice.
R-I-C-E.
Yes.
Is she a former UN ambassador? I know she served you in the Clinton administration.
Exactly, Monarch. No. I'm just going to give you some names for the people to pontificate on these names and their faces as to who they are and the role that they played in American politics in connection with the African continent. Susan Rice, Linda Thomas Greenfield, Lloyd Austin, and now we have Michael Langley. All these names, Monarch, they are African American. Who, Susan Rice and Linda Thomas Greenfield, were Secretary of State for African Affairs. Now, if you have to ask the question, what have they done for the African continent? We have Lloyd Austin, who is a former defense secretary. He retired now. And look at what he was placed in Africa for. Military base in Africa for development. Now let us think about this. Military base in Africa for development in Africa. how does military bases benefit African continent? And now we have Michael Langley, who is saying that, what's his name? Abraham Chori is using the gold that he's taking ownership of for the benefit of Burkina Faso. Are we seeing a pattern here, Monarch?
Well, it seems that way because, I mean, if we're not able to protect our own, or we're not able to do what our own needs in order to be successful, then something's wrong.
Well, you see, Monarch, the thing is, now Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, they are in the Sahel region. And this region in Africa, it is very rich in resources. Now, I'm gonna just briefly show you something that's been happening in I think it's Niger. I think it's I can't remember the mineral that supply electricity for France in Niger. I think it's aluminum or something. Somebody can correct me if the farmer is familiar with it. The word is escaping me right now.
Okay.
But here we have that over centuries, that mineral was used in France to lit the whole of France, while 99% of the population of Niger was in darkness. But here what France was doing, they were getting this mineral and selling it for €200 and just giving the Nigerian 80, I think was 80 something, point something for their mineral.
Wow.
And now that they have taken charge of it by expelling France and America out of these Sahel region, the propaganda that is coming from Michael Langley, I mean, when you look at these faces, I mean, not to mention what happened with Gaddafi under the Obama administration. So you see, the pattern is they're using our people to take front stage when they have the agenda. I mean, are we going to just sit and just, how long shall we sit and let our people? I mean, what are we doing, Monarch? Here we are in the diaspora, and I'm saying, okay, we don't have the weapon of death. But I am saying, Monarch, our weapon is our unity. Our weapon is our unity in knowledge of who we are. Because, Monarch, our ancestors built their countries.
Yeah, I know. I absolutely agree with you, and I
this
think
is. I mean, I'm so serious with this, Monarch, because I want our prime ministers in the Caribbean to let their voices be heard. I mean, what are they going to do? Eliminate us? Without us, there is no them, because they feed off of our energy. And that is why they have created this system of economics, Monarch. And we are in the matrix. We have to break out of it. We have to create our own edifice of autonomy, power, and strength in the African continent. Because Africa doesn't need the world needs Africa. Let us establish that. Africa can feed the world. But these narcissists, they're saying they're not willing to share. That's why they have conquered us with their weapon of death and their fear. Fear, Monarch. False evidence appearing real. They put it in the Bible. It's in their Bible. We got to see what they wrote, and we have to get out of their theology and their literature, because it is nothing but psychology and our brains.
All right.
Thank you for hearing me, Monarch.
All right. Thank you very much for coming back today and giving us, of course, some food for thought as it relates to what's happening on the African continent. What I would like to hear though is you guys trying to link. I know he did mention the leaders in the Caribbean, but what do we as a Caribbean people? How do we, get involved? How do we get involved in this? Because hey, you look at us, you look at them. We're basically all the same. Again, so give us a call. at 465-1977, 465-1903, or 662-8674. And let's discourse again, because the Caribbean, the connection between Africa and the Caribbean, is entrenched in a shared history, culture, and a sense of common identity. So they're saying basically that we do have a common identity. The historical and cultural ties between Africa and the Caribbean have deep roots that stretch across centuries. So this is not anything that we're now trying to cultivate. This was cultivated a long time ago. What happened in the interim, that's where the problem has come into play. So give us a call. As I said, 465-1977, 465-1903. And I know those are new numbers, so I'll keep repeating them so they get you get familiar with those numbers. And also 662-8674. And that's a WhatsApp number. So if you're calling from overseas, I know some folks were wondering about the overseas number. But if you're calling from overseas, you can call us on WhatsApp on 1-869-662-8674 as we discourse today. Let's take another call before we go to a break. Welcome to The Edge. Good morning.
Hello, Monarch.
Yes.
This is Sonny Boy calling from New York.
Hey, Sonny Boy. How are you doing today?
The caller asked what Susan Rice did. Susan Rice was a UN ambassador under Obama.
Yes, that's what I remembered.
She was a United States ambassador.
Yeah, but
and the mineral he's talking about in his ear is bauxite.
Bauxite, okay.
Yeah. That was, and the French, they do the same thing to Morocco and Algeria. They take all of their oil and sell it and control all the money. But you see, the Caribbean leaders and the African leaders is not going to work together. Because once you got power, you don't want to compromise yourself and give up that power. So it's hard for us to go repatriate back to Africa. It's not going to happen. We tried it, and it never happened.
Yeah, I mean...
Because they don't have as much love for us as we got for them.
Yeah, well, that's
because
true.
Because I live in America, a lot of Africans have told me, how come you all love the white man to put you into slavery? We didn't have no choice. So that relationship will never work. They tried with Gaddafi, and it didn't work.
Yeah, well...
I'm going to enjoy the rest of the show.
All right, no problem, man. Take care, Sonny Boy. I appreciate the call. And, yeah, I know well... Of course, there are people who are going to say, no, that's not the way that it works. But, I mean, we all go back to the Federation here in the Caribbean. Let's take another call. Good morning. Welcome to The Edge.
Greeting, my brother.
Yes, sir. Welcome back.
Okay. Give thanks to the reasoning. You know, we listen and we listen to the reasoning concerning the place where we are from, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And our rightful continental home. And we just hear the name. And it's been echoing in our head ever since we bridging in that part of the continent in art to do. You know, this is nothing strange. We are a people like that. You know, we are before over enslavement, you know, and that's the way we lived before it was interrupted by them and those. And you know, what's in my head is just a call. we listen to reasoning to him for even with the caller before me. No disrespect to him, because he speak the meditation that he just spoke from is it is a reflection of many others. Are you with me?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is not the time to be saying it can't.
Exactly. I'm glad you're on you're following my reason, you know, brother. Because you see, if we embrace that same kind of vibes where you just decide say we can't. If we embrace that, they're gonna kill They're going to kill the brethren there. They're going to murder the brethren there in Burkina Faso.
Yes.
And everything that he started is just going to be plundered and be no more. If we embrace such mentality that we can't. Are you with me?
Oh, absolutely. That's the MO. That's the MO. We've seen it over and over again.
Hey, you know, Bob Marley got one of his song there. I think it's the gang. He's singing. He got a song out. And I like that. I don't hear the station them play this song. And he say it's time for the struggle to end.
Okay. Well, I got two DJs in here with me, so.
Yeah, it's time for the struggle to end. The struggle continues. Victory is certain. Yeah. So no victory. It's time for the struggle to end. That's what the gang, Junior Gang, Bob Marley singing in one of his songs. Them know, and that's where we ought to be as a people. And I'm including us here in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis, which is one of the two of the plantations that we were brought to by force.
Yes.
I mean, why we keep on this kind of can't happen thing? Why? And you know, I associate the same thing even we call ourselves a Christian people. Please, allow me a next 2 minutes.
Go ahead.
We call ourselves a Christian people. No. In the book that guide which is Christianity, this Christendom, it is said the wages of sin is death. It don't stop there. It goes on to say the gift of the Most High is eternal life. In spite of that, people in Christendom, including here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, tenaciously embrace the wages, death, and not the gift, which is eternal life. Even Christendom twist it up and say, in order to attain the eternal life, the gift, you must get the wages, you must dead in order to go to heaven. This thing is, and I'm talking about it because death is something we have to conquer also. As a superb creation of the Most High. We are the original people, you know. Africa, continent of the whole continent at the cradle of civilization, you know. That's where we are from, you know. We are earth rightful owners, you know. Earth rightful owners. Because we paved the way. We are the original mother, father of all. If you go China, the original Chinese black like coal. If you go anywhere you go, the Indian them black like coal. Are you with me?
Absolutely.
We have mixture of colors now, golden, brown, etc. because of a lot of intermixing, etc., etc. But we are the original people, and we have the understanding now to know that even whatever color, shade of color, with the same continental people. If you go in the eastern part of Africa, you see people, that's why some people are say Rastafari worship a white god, because his imperial majesty look like a white man. Yeah, we come to the time, blessed know, but we can, and we must.
There you go. I agree with you wholeheartedly. All right, so, well, we'll take this call and then go to a break. Good morning, welcome to The Edge.
Now, Monarch, just permit me quickly.
Yes.
I just want, this is not a back and forth. So the caller in the U.S. who said that, you know, we tried it before, and yes, I respect Ras Ichut, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You see, our words are going out to the universe. And if our energy is low, if our energy is negative, what we're trying to accomplish won't happen. You see,
True.
when they tell us in a book that God write in a book, the universe record everything because the universe is alive. Let me repeat this, Monarch. The universe is alive, and our bodies are the mini universe As above, so below, as without, so within. So to the caller in the U.S., that negative energy that he's pushing out doesn't apply to me. You understand?
Yep.
Monarch, this is deep.
I definitely agree because, I know we can go back to the Federation. It's how many years ago? None of these leaders are alive today.
I'm going to show this quickly, Monarch, just
yes.
in the essence of time. Ras Ichu just spoke about Christendom. Well, let me put this out there for the Christian community, because they wrote in their book that, and this is in the book of Deuteronomy, Monarch. It says, in the last days, those who were taken by ships with chains around their neck, referring to us, Monarch, God is going to bring them back up into the land of their forefathers. This is what is in the European theology. Now, when you look at the Spirit of God, let us ask the question, how is this going to happen in the last days, and when is the last days? Because all that we have in a book is everything that is in a book. And it is keeping us in a book. Well, if you have to go within your DNA, Monarch, go within you. Internal that is within you. This is where your power lies. And this is why they have given us a book. Because they want us to remain in the book. Your DNA is connected to those who once ruled, who built the pyramids. Now, how is it that we fall so low that we don't have that power anymore? Well, it's many spares that the enemy is after us. The food that we are eating, Monarch, what do you think they wipe out Dr. Sadie? Dr. Sadie spoke about alkaline food that the earth produced and the sun cooked, the S-U-N, not the S-O-N, Monarch. So you see how deep it is? This is deep, and our people are not ready for it. We are going along to get along. And I'm calling on my Prime Minister, because I listened to his first speech at the United Nations. But after hearing him when he spoke to the Queen person, the king, this new king, I keep asking them, I feel like I don't even know who he is. Sadly. We are our voices with what pertaining to our future. Because the war that we are in, it's not our war. They are warring with us. It's either them or us. Plain and simple. But again, we don't have weapons of death. When I first started hearing my voice on the airwave, Monarch, a gentleman heard me said something about what France is doing, and he said he wants France come down here for me. Now, you see? This is what we do. We stop by and we let them take Gaddafi out. The man said, I want France come down here for you. No. I am capable of what France, I am knowledgeable of what France is capable of. Because right now, my post on social media is this, Monarch. When Africa finished kicking out France, it would be interesting to see who would want to be the next president of France. But Emmanuel Macron is the roaring lion that is going around seeing as much as he can bring down. And our people need to wake up. And this is no laughing matter. Thank you for hearing me.
All right, thanks for your call. We're now going to take a break, and we'll come back after the break.
Do you have a dear mother?
Moments for Mom, a ZIZ tribute to all mothers. Do you want to do something truly unforgettable for your mom this Mother's Day? Show her love like never before with a personal video tribute broadcast on ZIZ television. Come, step in front of our cameras and tell the world just how much she means to you. It's your chance to share your heart, your memories, and your love. She gave you the world. Now give her 30 seconds of pure joy and excitement. Moments for Mom, only on ZIZ. Limited spaces available. Book your tributes now. Give us a call at 465-2621 or email sales@zizonline.com.
She's my mother, and I love her so.
Astafan's Cloth Store on the corner of Church Street and Liverpool Road is holding a massive sale. Get 40% off all material while stocks last. Astafan's Cloth Store since 1942, always there for you.
In the sun or in the rain, life's a journey, joy and pain. But NCI's here day and night, always here for you, making it right. Always here for you. Always. With NCI, you've got a friend. Always here for you. Always. Right here till the very
At National Caribbean Insurance, you are covered and secure. We're your partner, your protector, your peace of mind. So for home, for health, for life, choose NCI because we're always here for you. Always.
Always here for you. Always. With NCI, you've got a friend. Always here for you. Always. Right here till the very end. Always here for you. Always. With NCI, you've got a friend. Always here for you. Always. Right here till the very end.
Welcome back to The Edge. So far, we've been having a really great conversation. We're going to take this call as we get back to the phones. Welcome to The Edge. Good morning.
Greetings for you, my brother. Let's read no more.
Yes.
We just recently got connected with Nigeria with intention to do certain things, trading, etc., ain't it?
Correct.
Right. One of the continental borders. Some time ago, now we wish this intention well. Yes. Some time ago, we had a connection with Libya. Can you recall?
Yes.
Concerning economics.
Yes. Two prime ministers ago.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Well, we know the story concerning Libya's honorable leader, Brother Gaddafi. It is known to us, isn't it?
Yes, for sure.
Good. The Federation of Saint Kitts and Nevis failed then to tell the world and to show the world that we are an African people and we are doing this, that, whatever, tower the other in response to Gaddafi's murder. So, let's catch up. Are we still online?
Yes. Go ahead.
We are connected continentally, as I said before. We are seeing what is happening with our brother in that part of the continent who is doing things differently and as it ought to be. We are in a position because we are connected continentally, and we ought to catch up and redeem ourselves from failing to stand with Brother Gaddafi and his cause, which is our cause, because the battles are many. Economic warfare is one. We have the opportunity to redeem ourselves and connect with that brethren, knowing that them and those have the same plot. They are not changing. They are not changing. And make sure that we do it right this time. May our leader and leaders have the will to do so as African people still sojourning in these plantation islands where we were brought, dragged against our will by force. Many years ago, we write a poem, and part of the punchline, I can remember very well. Just two lines. We jumped in passing shock direction, preferring that than slavery and humiliation. We are the same people. We forget? How we forgetting so easily who we are? Who we are? I got the next punchline there from one of my works. It goes like this. Black as star, brown as chocolate bar. Still not shining as a bright, bright star.
Love it.
The reason is near, not far. You don't know who you are. I think it starts with an enslavement. They are the original people, royal, noble kings and queens from a continent. They're the savages. Blessed love.
All right. Take care. Thanks for that call. Hey, listen. For the folks here in St. Kitts, you may have heard this announcement. It's a death announcement on ZIZ that Livingston Sylvester Bramble, also known as Ras I Aluja, who is formerly of St. Peter's, St. Kitts, and St. Croix, United States Virgin Islands. He, of course, was a two-time world lightweight and NABF champion. It's Livingston Sylvester Bramble, better known as Ras I Aluja. He passed away at 64 years old, and his funeral is in St. Croix today. So just for the folks who are interested and folks who are in St. Croix, as I said, Bramble was a two-time world lightweight and NABF champion. So rest in peace, sir, and condolences, of course, to the family of Livingston Bramble, world, of course, boxing champion out of St. Kitts. Good morning. Welcome to The Edge.
Mr. O'Gara, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing fine.
Good. I do not know if I am on par with a discussion I recently heard and the people's perception of Africans being united, that is, of the wider Western Hemisphere, we African people. But it is unfortunate that most of us, obviously, who heard it, read it, see it, understand it, not necessarily denying it, but I don't see that possible believing. And because there's no single person who famously stated that we united African. There's no single person. It's a simple concept, to unify Africa. Well, there's a long dream. A long dream has been discussed and debated by numerous individuals. Simple. What we all are talking about and discussing have been discussed and spoke about a long time ago. Long time ago. Bob Marley sing about it. And we know Africa unite. Mr. O'Gara, I'm sorry. But the other day I spoke to someone based on what it is happening in Africa. And Africa have a lot of natural resources to accommodate and entertain this whole global world. Believe me. But it is a simple pronunciation and a complex dream with various interpretations and approach to achieve it all. It cannot happen right now. I do not know if I would live to see it happen or hear about it. Within myself can't move, but have ears to see, which is the last sense all of us going to lose before we die, or hearing. That's the last sense we're going to lose before we die, hearing. I'm not sure if when I'm in bed and can't move, is not mobile, I'm going to hear about it, but I do not believe it's going to happen. And people don't have to accept what I said, but agree with my opinion, because I agree and accept everybody's opinion. I don't see it happening, Mr. O'Gara. But thanks for listening, and you have a good day. Goodbye.
All right, thanks for the call. We definitely appreciate it here on The Edge. Well, I am sure somebody's going to come back and says, no, it is possible that it's going to happen. Africa is going to unite. The Caribbean is going to join with them. Let's talk about it. Good morning. Welcome to The Edge.
Good morning, Monarch. Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I thought it was a rebroadcast. I never continue the program by yesterday. So,
yes.
Talking about the same thing?
Yes. But if you have something else that you wanted to bring up, that's fine too.
No, me not bring up nothing else. I want to talk about we people, we black people, we people.
Mm-hmm.
And in the whole entire different race of people. Because, let me tell you something. You got the races get together. You got the Chinese them together. Living in a different place. You got the Indians them together. When they come in a different place to live, they're together. But the honest people who don't live together is black people. They are divided. Whether in Africa, in anywhere they migrate to, black people grudge and covetous against one another. I don't know why. Me not say that the Indians them don't do the same thing. But we as black people, and we say that we are the original people. We are the original people from creation. We're supposed to be getting knowledge. We're supposed to let them come over power with nothing and misuse us and tell us this and tell us that. All do you people calling us so that they mislead us, they tell the other, they spin the Bible upon us and the Bible upon us. Well, if Jesus Christ was a black man, Jesus Christ is a black man then, right? Mm-hmm. So why black people got to go through all this tribulation and separation? Why we got to go through it? Why?
No, it's a good point that you're making. I mean, see, we have people on different sides of the spectrum when it comes to this, because we've been waiting for a long time. Unity is strength. So how do we get there?
Monarch, let me tell you something, right? What in the sink is where me live. Me get down first by my own black woman, black man, black boys, black girls. I get down first by them. They don't want to listen to me when you tell them the right of the thing. Because you're abusing, it's like a negative thing. And if all the fellas like Colundry and Rastaya and all those guys to come up and try to educate the people, right? And people still ignoring all these things. Something got to be wrong with our generation, with the black generation. Because if India and China could go out there in different parts of the world and come together, do business together, right? But when they other countries like get brother and sister, some of them say they're family now. When they're not related to one another. You understand? They might look alike just because we black people we look alike too. Because sometimes if you go in New York and see a black man, you want to know that's Monarch here. Mr. You're Monarch, your brother?
That's true.
You know?
Yeah. Nobody can take me from me now anymore.
Okay. Okay then, but we got to be real, man. We got to be real. If we go real and consider that we as one, we'll never get nowhere. This just talking. Look at the girl there in Burkina. What do you call it again?
Burkina Faso?
Abraham Chavez, right?
Yes.
Look at him. Look at him, a young man, 30-something years. And he want to change Africa. He want to change black people to their own culture. You know, black people could live as one. Associate together, do business as one. You know what I mean? The guy doing well, but you don't hear you don't hear when he's doing family business and all that thing. Because they want the negative towards him. Because only when you go on social media, I hear about him, you know, and see about him what he doing in what the place name?
Burkina Faso.
Burkina Faso.
Yes.
Oh, when I go on social media, I see these things. What the man doing in Burkina Faso. You know?
Good. All right, well.
And these things we got to learn from. We black people in the Caribbean and all over the whole world. Learn from this guy.
Absolutely. Take care, Mr. Politics.
Yeah, man.
All right, so we want to say thanks to Zelma. We got another call coming in. Let's take that. Good morning. Welcome to the Edge.
Hello, Monarch.
Yes, go ahead.
This is me, Sonny Boy, calling, man.
Yes, Sonny Boy. Defend yourself.
The caller criticized me for what I said about it wasn't going to work. You know, one of the biggest yoke on the Caribbean is the biggest yoke, the English-speaking Caribbean islands. We still part of the British Empire, even though we got independence. We're still part of the British Empire. I live in the Virgin Islands before I went to America. And when you're born in the Virgin Islands, you're born a U.S. citizen. When you're born in Puerto Rico, you're born a U.S. citizen. The British will never give up their hold in the Caribbean. They will never give up their hold in the Caribbean. They give us independence, they give us everything, but we still part of the British Empire. And the two callers that just said it don't work. I'm 77 years old, and I'm not going to be around if it ever works. Okay, Mr. Monarch, thanks for taking my call.
All right, take care. Hey, listen, we got another call? All right, so we'll go ahead and take this call then. Good morning. Welcome to the Edge.
Good morning. I honestly feel that we should not let this narrative that black people always grudge each other and always pulling down each other. I don't think we should buy into it one day. Okay? Because to me that's an excuse. Okay. Right? To refer to the other races as holding together and we're always bickering and splitting apart, that is not true. At least I don't think it is. Right? What I think happens is that we deal with competition differently. Right? There are black businesses that succeed, right? But black people, just like any other people, love a bargain when they see one and make use of it. You're not going to tell me that I must buy something inferior simply because the other person is black. Or I must put up with poor customer service simply because the person is of my race. No. That is not how we compete. We should compete, and that is not how we should progress. Right? That's not going to make us, it's not going to make us better if we put up with mediocrity or put up with poor service and bad quality, whether products or service, simply because it's our race. No. Right? We live in a world with other races, and we should compete with them and make sure we advance just like they do. I don't think, I question whether we are in fact as disunited as the narrative really want to portray. I honestly don't think so. And when it comes to Africa, they have had a legacy of colonialism and imperialism and divide and rule. And so it might be difficult, it is difficult than other places to come together, to unite. But it can be done. Okay? It probably just takes time, but it can be done. Yeah. It can overcome those kinds of difficulties to eventually unite. Okay? And all we need, I would think, is a core, apart from our race, apart from our blackness, some core set of values, just like other countries, whether it's the European Union, whether it's the United States, that consists of different states and different types of people too, right? But they somehow realize that they can be stronger when they're united. And that is those are the kinds of values that have to be instilled in places like Africa, okay? That make them, that the people, the general people, the populace, believe they're stronger if they came together, rather than the bickering and fighting for territory and those kinds of things. And of course, because they're underdeveloped, they have more what they consider more important things like bread and butter issues to deal with, rather than the politics of coming together. But I don't feel we should just sit back and decide that we, the black people, are doomed and we could never unite and we can always pull our brothers down. That is not true, okay? Because the evidence shows that there are black people who can succeed. And once one can do it, 2, 3, 4, infinite can do it as well, okay? Once the conditions are right. All right, then.
Thank you very much for that call. Yes. I mean, it's very interesting that we have, different sides of the, the spectrum, as the last caller says. He's not going to sacrifice quality just to purchase from somebody who looks like him. That's basically the premise of that thought. And we were talking about the Caribbean. And I have a contribution here on line. Bury Jones says, my contribution today is the Bryant Clause needs to be removed from the Constitution to give the electorate a wider pool of candidates to choose from in the elections. Okay, so we're talking about the Caribbean. I don't know if the Bryant Clause, I'm not sure of the specifics, but I know it prevents folks who were not born in St. Kitts, naturally born in St. Kitts, I hope that I'm right, to participate in the elections. It says the poster continues and said the Bryant Clause and the dual citizenship clause needs to be revisited in Parliament. Listen, guys, it's 4 minutes to 12 o'clock. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Today on The Edge, we had a very spirited discussion, and I would like to take away from this that yes, we can. Yes, we can. It may take time. It may not happen in our lifetime, but there's definitely a way. Once we make a way, once we have the will, we can make a way. And so that's where we end today. Tomorrow, we're going to be on The Edge, and we're going to be talking about the Global Sustainable Island Summit. We'll have some guests in the studio who will tell us exactly what will happen to that. So join us tomorrow at 11 for The Edge for the week ending Saturday, 27th April. Yes, we're 4 months into the year already. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy your lunch, guys.
This Mother's and Father's